Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, Durham police on the scene of a deadly shooting. We are live with what we know about what happened.
And we've been stuck in this dry weather pattern that finally comes to a close later this week. I'll show you when this cold front arrives and brings some much needed rain.
Crime bill vote. State lawmakers could vote today to bring back the death penalty. Reaction from both sides of the aisle.
Breaking news this noon. Durham police are investigating a shooting that killed a man. Good afternoon. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Ken Smith in for Chris Lovingood. This happened in the 1900 block of Cap Street. WRAL Sean Gallagher just arrived on that scene within the last 15 minutes. And Sean, walk us through what you know so far.
Yeah, Ken, Renee, it's still a very active scene, as you can see here behind me on Cap Street. I'll get out of the way so you can take a look. There are a number of unmarked police vehicles here and also a number of actual Durham police vehicles. And just beyond where you can see this Durham police vehicle with the lights on, that is where their investigation is focused right now. Now, what we know is that an adult male was killed in this shooting. It all happened just before 10 a.m. out here, and Durham police do tell us they have somebody in custody related to this shooting. But clearly the investigation is ongoing. It has been blocked off since about 10 a.m. this morning and doesn't show any signs of them clearing this up. They have tape lining basically the entire street here, blocking the houses from being involved. So it appears that the investigation is into a shooting that happened outside here. Now, this is a relatively quiet area. We've talked to a couple of neighbors here who some didn't even hear this shooting this morning. They are just finding out about it right now. But as far as this incident itself, Durham police tell us they believe that it is isolated and that they do have that person in custody. So there shouldn't be any other concerns for neighbors in this part of Durham. In Durham, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
All right, Sean, we appreciate that. Hey, I want you to take a look at this beautiful view of downtown Cary Park. It's been 11 days since we've had measurable rain in the triangle. You see the Carolina blue sky hanging over that park. It looks like this dry pattern, though, will finally turn around by the end of this week. Let's get to meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. She's here now with a look at what we can expect to get this soaking rain later in the week, Amy.
We need it. We're over 3 inches below normal for the month of September. And looking at the state, this is the percent of normal rainfall. So the takeaway here, if you see greens and blues, you've had above normal rainfall. If you see oranges like this, that's where we've had below normal rainfall. And it's almost the entire state of North Carolina. So we're really getting desperate for some rain. So it's good news that this pattern is finally going to change by the end of the week. It's just bad timing because it's right during the weekend. But this is the front that's headed our way. It arrives on Friday, and rain chances will increase in advance of the front beginning Thursday and continuing into Friday. And then we'll have some tropical moisture over the weekend that's going to bring us some rain chances as well. Wednesday in the evening, we might see an isolated shower or storm in western counties. Most of you stay dry Wednesday with the front still well to our west. But by the time we get to Thursday, scattered showers and storms become possible, especially the second half of the day. That continues into Friday as well. So that's with the cold front. Rain chances are going to be fairly decent. 40% chance on Thursday. It's a 70% chance Friday, a 50% chance Saturday, and a 40% chance on Sunday. So finally, it looks like we're going to get some much needed rain. And I'll talk about how much we could get in about 15 minutes or so. But we do have a low end risk for flooding Friday. We also have a low end risk for flooding on Saturday. So again, I'll talk more about those rainfall totals coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Amy. As soon as today, new proposals to reinstate the death penalty in North Carolina could be on Governor Josh Stein's desk. This is part of a wide-ranging bill aimed at cracking down on crime after the deadly light rail stabbing in Charlotte. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live at the state legislative building. Destiny, the bill passed the Senate last night, and now it's in the hands of the House.
Renee, state lawmakers in the House are expected to start voting on this bill in about an hour. And at one point, this was a pretty bipartisan bill, and it quickly became divisive after some last-minute changes last night. Now, Senator Phil Berger proposed an amendment to find other ways to do executions yesterday. And no one has been executed here since 2006 due to legal challenges in North Carolina. And that's something that Berger says he's not pleased with. The death penalty modifications are a deal breaker for some Democrats who originally supported the bill.
Truly care about justice and dignity and about life, then we have to understand that it is not our job to find the most inhumane way to take someone's life. And we call ourselves Christians.
This is something that's been building for a while, and the incident in Charlotte really has awakened a lot of folks, or at least has gotten folks more vocal about their concerns about crime in North Carolina.
Now, the bill directly addresses many aspects of the Charlotte stabbing, including the elimination of cashless bail and requiring more oversight for magistrates. That House voting session is expected to start around 1 o'clock. And then from there, if it passes as expected, then it'll be up to Governor Josh Stein to decide whether to sign it into law or to veto it. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
The state house is moving to fast track a bill targeting political violence. It's inspired by the recent killing of Charlie Kirk, a popular conservative activist and podcaster. Supporters say there's been a rise in violence targeting politicians, commentators, and others on both sides of the aisle. The bill would make politically motivated murders automatically eligible for the death penalty. It would also create longer prison sentences for arson, assaults, or other crimes committed for political reasons. Find updates on WRAL.com as the bill moves through the state legislature this afternoon.
And Renee, also happening today, state lawmakers are working on several other key bills at the state capitol. The mini budget approved Monday by the Senate is highly likely to face opposition in the state house. Republican leaders in the House and Senate are at odds over budget details that could affect the plan the Senate passed unanimously. That measure would provide $65 million for aid in the wake of Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina and Tropical Storm Chantal, which hit central North Carolina back in July. It also proposes $35 million for new development at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh, among other projects.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we have an update to a story that we brought you yesterday. We now know the name of a man whose body was pulled from a Wake County pond. The Wake County Sheriff's Office was called for a welfare check. Sky 5 flew over the scene off Hodge Road near Wendell yesterday afternoon. That's where crews found 73-year-old Kenneth Holden. They say this is an active investigation.
Michelle, thanks. Nearly 200 world leaders or national representatives are in the U.S. today for the 80th United Nations General Assembly. In his address, President Donald Trump blasted the UN and touted what he sees as accomplishments from his second term. Here's Caroline Shively.
President Trump returning to the UN General Assembly in New York for the first address of his second term to the group of world leaders.
I feel very happy to be up here with you.
The president came out blasting global institutions he believes have done more harm than good and hailed what he called the return of American strength.
What is the purpose of the United Nations? All they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words. And empty words don't solve war.
Trump has made it clear he wants to see an end to the war in Gaza.
Have to get it done. Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace.
But a number of U.S. allies, including Australia, Britain, and Canada, just officially recognized Palestine as a state.
We offer our full partnership in building the promise of a peaceful future for both the state of Palestine and the state of Israel.
President Trump said he'd quickly bring an end to the war in Ukraine upon taking office. But 8 months into his presidency, there's been little progress.
In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal to end the war, then the United States is fully prepared to impose a very strong round of powerful tariffs.
The president also used his address to continue his campaign for the Nobel Peace Prize.
In a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars.
That was Caroline Shively reporting. Roughly 80% of UN members now back Palestinian statehood. However, recognizing a Palestinian state is largely symbolic without the U.S., and the Trump administration is not pushing for that statehood. In fact, it is barring Palestinian leaders from the General Assembly by denying them visas.
The Secret Service says it caught a cache of equipment capable of crashing the cellular network. It happened in New York as world leaders gathered for that UN General Assembly. Agents found more than 100,000 SIM cards and 300 servers that could cripple cell towers, inhibit emergency responses, or be used for surveillance. According to one Secret Service official, the network had the capacity to anonymously send 30 million text messages per minute.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, former Vice President Kamala Harris sat down with MSNBC last night for her first interview since leaving office, speaking with Rachel Maddow. Harris talked about some of the decisions that she made during her campaign. She also touched on recent political headlines like the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel and also partisan redistricting. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Part of what we've got to, I think, challenge ourselves to accept is that we tend to play by the rules. But I think this is a moment where you got to fight fire with fire.
And Harris has a new memoir titled 107 Days that comes out today.
Doctors are reacting to the Trump administration announcement about Tylenol use during pregnancy and a possible link to autism. President Trump and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. made that connection at the White House yesterday. They are strongly recommending that women avoid taking acetaminophen during pregnancy. Now, we spoke with a psychologist who says the largest study to date found no causation between Tylenol and autism. Only a few small studies suggest a slightly increased risk. Medical researchers warn the causes of autism have long been complex.
It's been clear that there will not be a single cause of autism, that autism is likely caused by a combination of genetic and environmental factors. We don't actually know if the potential link between Tylenol and autism is because of infection or fever during pregnancy.
In a statement, Wake Med says the use of acetaminophen continues to be a safe option for pain relief during pregnancy. And the CDC also says the medication is safe to use.
Well, parents and students are invited to explore magnet school options in Wake County at the East Wake Magnet Fair. They can visit Wake Tech Community College East Campus in Wendell from 5 this evening until 7. The fair will feature 5 magnet schools. There will be information sessions on each school and a discussion with a panel discussion featuring current magnet families.
Next at noon, the dangerous maneuver this driver pulled trying to get away from police in Seattle, all caught on a police dash cam.
Also trapped in floodwaters in northern Italy, the quick work by swift water rescue teams to help drivers escape the fast-moving floodwaters.
And challenging open meetings practices, the key points in a lawsuit against UNC's Board of Trustees.
Coming up next, see storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Well, Seattle police released this wild police chase. The dash cam video showing a driver speeding through traffic and getting caught on a raised bridge, but the driver clearly had no intention of being caught. Watch as he breaks through a barrier and crashes over the raised bridge, landing on the other side of the road before speeding away from officers. Officers found the abandoned vehicle later with a busted windshield, but the driver escaped. Officers say the vehicle was stolen. Well, for the third time in just over a year, the streets of northern Italy submerged after torrential rains. Storms triggered mudslides, closed the railway line, and prompted evacuations. Firefighters rescued hundreds of people, including schoolchildren, near Lake Como. Heavy downpours resulted in a landslide that closed the local railway line. In one area, officials had to save some motorists who were trapped in a flooded underpass.
A roller coaster at Universal Orlando was operating properly when a guest became unconscious and later died. Park officials say Kevin Zavala was found unresponsive on the Stardust Racers roller coaster last week, and he died at the hospital. The medical examiner confirmed the death was accidental, citing several blunt impact injuries. His girlfriend, who was with him, says he had pre-existing spinal condition, used a wheelchair, and was taking medicine. On this day in 1846, astronomers discovered the farthest planet from the sun. We are talking about Neptune. The discovery was made based on mathematical calculations after discrepancies in Uranus's orbit suggested an unseen gravitational pull. Neptune is almost 4 times larger than Earth. Put another way, it orbits the sun once every 165 years.
And Renee, while we're on the subject, they've come so far, but their adventures are just starting. NASA welcoming its newest class of astronauts, and one of them could go where no other astronaut has gone before. Ted Linder takes a closer look at the 10 lucky members and their next steps into a brave new world.
Are you ready to meet the 24th group of astronaut candidates?
The competition was fierce. Out of more than 8,000 hopeful applicants shooting for the stars, only 10 were chosen to join NASA's newest class of astronauts.
She's an anesthesiologist from Copiague Falls, New York, Imelda Muller.
And for the first time, there's more women than men, with everyone eager to get to work.
We are pushing the boundaries of human performance.
I'm really excited to see everybody's strengths.
Only 370 people have ever been chosen by NASA as astronauts. And while this group joins 41 active U.S. astronauts currently serving, officials say one of these class members could make history.
One of these 10 could actually be one of the first Americans to put their boots on the Mars surface.
But even though the new class must now complete 2 years of training before they're eligible for spaceflight, astronauts on board the International Space Station are already giving them a warm welcome from the final frontier.
We wanted to offer a huge congratulations.
Meanwhile, in keeping with tradition, this new class will eventually be given a nickname as they help advance science and technology.
Your astronaut class is a very special group. That's why there's a tradition among astronauts that the newest astronaut class is named by the class before it. Our class was named by the turtles, who lovingly gave us the name the Flies because, among more humorous reasons, they hoped we would fly early. We look forward to getting to know your class so we can give you a name befitting your personalities.
That was Ted Linder reporting. Now, it's not clear what other flight assignments these astronauts may be eligible for moving forward. NASA has already selected a group of veteran flyers for the Artemis II test mission that will fly around the moon as soon as next year. But NASA hopes the newest group will be eligible for flights later in the Artemis program to the moon.
We were just chatting during that story, and meteorologist Amy Wilmoth mentioned that long ago she had dreamed of becoming a NASA astronaut as well.
And I guess lots of people, 8,000 applicants. Very competitive industry. You got to be really good at math to do it. And that's why I said peace out on that. All right. This is a live look at Fenton and Cary. And it is a nice day out there, but it is hot. Temperatures are going to approach 90 this afternoon. Already at 85 in and around the Triangle. The cool spot, Roxborough at 79, 82 in Fayetteville, 82 in Rocky Mount. Now, the reason it doesn't feel that bad is the dew point. That's down into the upper 50s in the Triangle. So at least we don't have the humidity and the heat. Today we just have the heat. Temperatures well above normal, but we're still not in record territory. Those numbers are in the upper 90s for today. But we expect a high of 90 in Raleigh and Durham, 90 in Rocky Mount, maybe as high as 93 in Fayetteville today. We will get some relief from the heat, and we will get some much needed rain by the end of the week. So this is the next weather maker. It's a cold front that's west of us, moving through the middle part of our country right now, and it approaches our area for the end of the week, and it will bring us some rain chances, and we really need the rain. For the next couple of days, I wouldn't expect to see any showers, just a 20% chance, 40% chance on Thursday, Friday, a decent chance for rain and storms that could impact football Friday, a 50% chance Saturday, and then a 40% chance Sunday and Monday. So I know it's bad timing with the weekend, but we really need the rain. So for the end of the week, we'll be tracking this front. At Thursday in the morning, most of the rain's going to be over western North Carolina, but by the time we get to the evening, some of that moisture from the front will be in our area. So some scattered showers and storms the second half of the day. Friday morning, we could have some scattered showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder. So it could be a little bit rough in the morning. The front still making its way through the area in the evening. So showers and storms remain possible. So again, we're watching this carefully for Friday night football games. It looks like as of now, they could be impacted by this front. Once we get to Saturday, we're kind of transitioning to a different source for moisture. It's coming from the tropics. So we'll get some moisture from the Atlantic Atlantic and from the Gulf. And that's when we could see some rain in the area over the weekend, thanks to the tropical moisture in place. So Saturday, scattered showers and storms possible, and we'll be dodging some showers and storms on Sunday as well. So much needed rain. We could have some pockets of heavy rain, an inch to an inch and a half possible across a good part of the triangle. But some pockets of our area, the pockets that you see shaded in that deep color of red, could see up to 2.5 inches of rain. Now, the tropical moisture, this is where it's coming from. This area now has a 60% chance of development. This area a 90% chance of development. It looks like they're almost going to kind of merge together by the time we get to early next week. We could have a tropical depression close to our coast, but really it's just going to bring us some good rain chances for the end of the week and into early next week. Now, the good news is the rain is going to help drop temperatures. High temperatures will be back to around normal, back in the low 80s by Friday.
All right, Amy, thank you. Face to face with a copperhead. A local one says she was bitten by one on a popular trail. Today on WRAL News at 4. Her warning to you if you think snake season is over.
And Roblox lawsuit. A Raleigh family is suing the game over accusations their 13-year-old was sexually abused. At 5:30, what they say needs to be done to that game to protect other children. But our new news continues right now, putting the brakes on EV tax breaks, why shoppers are running out of time to cash in on federal tax credits.
And building credit, why data from buy now, pay later accounts could help responsible consumers. Time is running out to get one of those big electric vehicle tax credits. Under President Trump's spending and tax package, the $7,500 federal tax credit for EV buyers ends October 1st. In recent weeks, some people have rushed to get deals ahead of the deadline. Industry insiders predict losing the tax credit will likely cause a sharp drop in EV sales. FICO is creating 2 new scoring models that will include data from buy now, pay later purchases. The credit score provider says the change will help people who do not have traditional credit cards to improve their score. FICO says the new changes won't be seen immediately by lenders looking to run credit checks because credit reporting agencies have to receive enough information from buy now, pay later services first.
Meta is lending a helping hand to singles in search of love. Facebook is adding an AI feature, including dating assistance AI chatbot. The assistance offers users help to spruce up their profiles. It also allows users to type specific prompts to help them find exactly the type of person they're looking for. Well, Jimmy Kimmel returning to the air tonight, but not everyone will be able to watch it. Nexstar Media Group and Sinclair plan to preempt that show. This ends a week-long suspension after a monologue that received backlash after Charlie Kirk's death. 2 days after the monologue, the FCC pressured ABC to punish Kimmel. Within hours, station groups Nexstar and Sinclair pulled Kimmel's show off the air, then ABC suspended it altogether.
Coming up, UNC Chapel Hill accused of a lack of transparency. The key points to a lawsuit against the university's Board of Trustees.
A recreation destination. That's what RDU leaders hope the future is for Lake Crabtree Park. Next, why your input matters on the project. And into a break, your winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
A former provost at UNC Chapel Hill has filed a lawsuit saying the Board of Trustees is breaking the law. Chris Clemens argues that the board has not followed open meetings or public records law in recent closed sessions. WRAL's Monica Casey is live on campus right now. Monica, break this down for us.
Well, this lawsuit centers on when the UNC Chapel Hill Board of Trustees can go into closed session. Former Provost Chris Clemens argues in that suit that this board is discussing things they shouldn't be in closed session. Now, his complaint focuses on the board's March meeting, where they went into closed session to discuss individual tenure appointments. Clemens acknowledges that is allowed, but he claims that closed meeting then turned to a general discussion of tenure policy, which he says would not be allowed under North Carolina's open meetings law. Clemens alleges in his suit he told the deans of schools that the board engaged in a policy discussion on tenure while in closed session, and when one of those deans told the chair of the board of trustees, Clemens says that group retaliated by working to push him out. He resigned effective in mid-May. Also at issue here is how the Board of Trustees communicates. Clemens also says in that suit that some board members are using the Signal app where messages disappear after being read, and he argues that is a violation of public records law. I did reach out to Clemens for comment. He says he will not be commenting beyond what is in the lawsuit itself. I've also reached out to the university and individual trustees for comment. I have not yet heard back. Live in Chapel Hill, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Governor Josh Stein is sounding the alarm about a shortage of funds for the state's Medicaid program. State health officials say they need lawmakers to approve more Medicaid funding by October 1st to avoid cuts to the program. However, lawmakers are poised to leave Raleigh today with no deal. Stein released a statement just moments ago accusing Republican legislators of putting politics over people. Failure to act will lose us critical federal funding and take more than $1 billion total out of our state's healthcare system, needlessly hurting people's health, healthcare providers, and our economy. Check WRAL.com for the latest on developments.
A federal judge ordering President Trump to restore 500 health science grants at UCLA. In July, President Trump suspended research grants and levied a $1.2 billion fine against the university. He claims it is for civil rights violations and anti-Semitism. The action restores virtually all of the 800 UCLA science grants valued at more than $500 million. Senator Ted Cruz is urging the White House to support raising the international retirement age for pilots from 65 to 67. He says the change would keep experienced pilots in the cockpit longer. The International Civil Aviation Organization, part of the United Nations, is set to consider the proposal this week. Aviation unions strongly oppose the move, citing health declines and a lack of research on older pilots.
Happening today, RDU is inviting you to learn more about plans to redevelop part of Lake Crabtree Park. The airport is looking to turn the 136 acres into what it calls a recreation destination. WRAL's Ali Kalubar reports. This is a plan that has drawn a lot of concern from people who use that park.
This map right here is a good representation of why there's a concern. It used to all be green, Lake Crabtree County Park, and now there's a divide right there. That dark part is this area. It's 136 acres, what is set to be that new recreation destination. And today, people will have a chance to voice their concerns and input on the future of this property. Here's a look at those potential plans people are going to see tonight. They include retail spaces, restaurants, even a zip line. Now, WRAL has extensively covered this property. About 3 months ago, people used this 136 acres for biking and walking trails. Wake County leased it from RDU. RDU says new federal requirements caused the lease price to go up. The lease ended and that part of the park closed in June. Again, people will be voicing their concerns and input about this section of the park, which is this 136 acres of wooded area. That public workshop is tonight. It's from 4 to 7 p.m. at Laurel Community Center. Reporting in Morrisville, Ali Kalubar, WRAL News.
Happening today, the city of Durham and the state DOT are looking at ways to improve pedestrian safety. A public open house is happening from 6 to 7:30 tonight. It will focus on plans to slow traffic and improve safety on Duke Street, Gregson Street, and Vickers Avenue. The event will be held at Walltown Recreation Center on West Club Boulevard.
Hurricane Helene was North Carolina's most damaging storm. Now WRAL marks 1 year since the disaster with a new documentary focusing on families and communities changed forever. Helene caused $60 billion in damages from catastrophic flooding and mudslides. Our WRAL documentary team investigates the impact the delays in funding from the federal government is having on those communities.
to receive billion-dollar increments for a $60 billion disaster, that's going to take a long time if we keep going at this pace.
The lawmakers have a pot of money that they haven't let go of. So there you go. That should be distributed to the people.
The documentary includes exclusive interviews with families still grieving and business owners trying to recover. Helene, What We Lost, What We Found airs this Thursday on WRAL TV and streams on WRAL.com, the WRAL News app, and WRAL's YouTube channel.
More than just self-expression, the new research that shows how large tattoos can benefit your skin.
And cyber safety at fall festivals. With large crowds come cybersecurity risks, why you should avoid using public Wi-Fi and other ways to protect yourself. Now remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL News app on your streaming device. Welcome back as you look live at Lake Gaston this noon hour. Not a bad place to be, actually. You're watching WRAL News. We always appreciate that. It's available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. So how about this? Tattoos may offer protection from melanoma. A new study showed people who had 4 or more sessions had a 56% lower risk of melanoma compared to those who've never been inked. The risk was even lower for those who had 3 or more larger tattoos. Researchers say the tattoos act like a sunscreen and protects the skin from harmful UV rays. A new study finds following a Mediterranean diet may be good for your dental health. It found eating a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, beans, and olive oil could potentially lower your risk of gum disease. Researchers say those foods are associated with lower inflammation and healthier gums. The study also found eating too much red meat was associated with a higher risk of more severe gum disease.
September is World Alzheimer's Month. Although there is no cure, there are ways to help reduce the risk, like with exercise. Researchers say it appears that exercise may increase certain chemicals and neurotransmitters in the brain, which help preserve brain health. How much exercise is best? Doctors recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity each week.
While starting earlier is likely to be better, it's never too late to start. So even older individuals who have never done a minute of exercise in their lives can benefit in terms of risk reduction by engaging in exercise even at an advanced age.
Studies have found the Mediterranean diet and MIND diet seem to be the most reliably effective in terms of preventing cognitive decline.
Fall leaves changing fast. There's a reason you're seeing more colored leaves earlier this year. We'll explain why this is happening.
And a surge in porch pumpkins. Next, why more people are deciding to go with these popular decorations this year and how it's benefiting one North Carolina business. Some are still hanging on, but with fall in full swing now, big festivals and events are popping up all across the Triangle. But with large crowds come cybersecurity risks. Public Wi-Fi that isn't secure, USB charging stations you can't trust, and phones or wallets left unintended. You don't want to be one of those. Kimberly Simon, cybersecurity expert from Growth Office Partners, is here now to share 3 ways that we can all stay safe at fall festivals. Kimberly, good to see you.
Good to see you, as always.
Okay, first and foremost, your rule is do not log on to the public Wi-Fi. So many people do. It's free, it's convenient, it's there.
Absolutely.
Why shouldn't we do it?
Oh, so what we're discussing today is just as important as protecting your physical information. So when we're thinking about going to events, you should be thinking about, hey, I always worry about, did I lock my car? Do I know where my wallet is? So how are you protecting your digital information? And public Wi-Fi is the best place to start. Ditch the public Wi-Fi and use your personal data, your phone data. Why? Because criminals can tamper with public Wi-Fi so they can see your activity. It is often unprotected. So criminals can see your activity activity, and they can steal your information. So ditch the public Wi-Fi, use your phone data. If you must use public Wi-Fi, then opt to use what's called a virtual private network. For a few dollars a month, you can pay to have all your internet activity encrypted so that criminals cannot see it.
So getting a VPN, is that an app that you can download to pay for that service?
It's a service that you would pay for every month, and it basically encrypts your internet activity so that people cannot see what you're doing or your information. So if you have to use public Wi-Fi, then maybe look into using a VPN. But wherever possible, just use your phone data.
All right. Well, next you suggest that users turn off auto connect to networks. Why is that?
Absolutely. Most phones are set to automatically connect to Wi-Fi, hotspot, Bluetooth, especially if you've connected to it before. And criminals know that. So what they do is they set up fake networks. So it will say free festival Wi-Fi. And your phone will attempt to connect to it without you even knowing. And what you're doing is exposing your information to cyber criminals. So you should go into your settings right now and make sure that you have disabled auto connect so that your phone always has to ask before it connects to a Wi-Fi network, to a hotspot, or to Bluetooth. That way you have control over who's looking at your information.
So let's say if you do end up connecting to one of those said networks that you don't want to be connected to, what can they see on your phone? Is it whatever you open up?
So it varies. So criminals can sometimes see your activity, and that's private to you. And in some cases, they can see your data and copy it, steal it, and that's what you're really trying to protect.
Okay. I actually had a friend who posted that she used public Wi-Fi and logged into her financial accounts, and somebody stole money from that there. So that can happen. Finally, you suggest that everyone carry a portable power bank.
Yes.
So don't use the charging stations.
The public charging stations, believe it or not, public charging stations can be tampered with by cyber criminals. So it is best practice to just buy a portable charger. They're small, they're virtually inexpensive, and they just protect you from having to rely on that public charging station that can sometimes just expose your information. So always opt to take that portable charger.
Yeah, they're really easy to buy on Amazon. They're only maybe $20, $30. You can get a decent one and just carry it around with you.
And just carry it around at festivals and events this fall.
All right, and keep your information safe and don't let it ruin your good time.
Oh, don't let it ruin your good time. This is just as important as how you protect your physical assets.
All right, cybersecurity expert Kimberly Simon, we appreciate your insights and thanks for helping us keep our information safe.
Thank you.
Ken.
And you know, Renee, speaking of fall festivals, Amy just reminded us that last year we didn't have those fall leaves because this is what you and our team were dealing with last year, a year ago today.
Yeah, it really ruined everything in the mountains for tourism. It's such a disaster there. And it was 1 year ago today at 11 a.m. that we had our first official forecast track for Hurricane Helene. And we're going to have more on the 1 year anniversary for Helene in the coming days. I'm headed to Asheville tomorrow for a Helene symposium on lessons learned. We have lots to talk about this week as we approach the Helene anniversary. Right now in the tropics, it is very active. We don't have anything that we're too concerned about at the moment. Gabrielle is a powerful Category 4 hurricane, but it's moving to the north and east. We have a couple of systems that we're watching that are going to bring us some tropical moisture this weekend. Perhaps both of those becoming a depression and increasing our rain chances over the weekend and early next week. In the meantime, the big talker is the summer-like heat that we have. The southerly flow really warming us up today. We'll be in the low 90s this afternoon. It's already 85 degrees. This is alive like a drum, but at least the dew point is nice. It's in the upper 50s, so it's not terribly muggy or humid outside, but very warm. 85 in Raleigh, 81 in Knightdale and Garner, 82 right now in Holly Springs. It's 84 in Cary. Temperatures are anywhere from about 4 to 9 degrees warmer right now compared to this time yesterday. So the 90s are back for most of us. For today, we expect a high of 90. Tomorrow, a high of 91, and then Thursday, a high temperature of 90. Now, we don't expect to break any records. The record today is 99. Tomorrow we get closer. 96 is the record, and then 98 the record Thursday. All of those set back on a very hot year back in 2010. Now, the humidity stays down today. It's really not that bad tomorrow, but as we get to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the humidity really starts to go up, and that's our rain chances that are going up as well. So by the time we get to Thursday, at 40 to 50%.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. We're staying on top of breaking news in Durham, where a man is dead and a suspect is in custody after a morning shooting. It happened on the 1900 block of Cap Street just before 10 o'clock. When police got there, they found a man was dead. Investigators are looking into what happened.
The man who drowned in a Wake County pond has been identified. Deputies say 73-year-old Kenneth Holden died. Sky 5 flew over that scene yesterday on Hodge Road as deputies searched for his body. They were called out for a welfare check. Holden's body was found after a 2-hour search. Deputies are still investigating what happened.
As soon as today, new proposals to restart the death penalty in North Carolina could be on Governor Josh Stein's desk. It's part of a wide-ranging bill aimed at cracking down on crime after the deadly Charlotte light rail stabbing. The bill passed the Senate last night. It is now in the hands of the House.
The autumn equinox ushered in the first official day of fall, but for people who can't get enough of peeping the leaves as they change colors, may be under a tighter time crunch this season. Some expect leaf colors to still be bright this season, but they may not stick around for long, and areas of elevation can also impact when leaves change colors. Trees at high elevations will experience leaves turning sooner.
The arrival of fall means it's time to change your outdoor decorations. This year, more people across the country are spending big bucks to hire porch decorators. A company out of Charlotte says